Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. That's actually from a song that was written about the United States for the Statue of Liberty during World War I. Everybody was going through some shit, and the U.S., opened arms, right? I'm not gonna lie, I'm not sure what's gonna happen next. After this video, either I'm gonna be called all kinds of different names, which I can deal with, or like the FBI is gonna be knocking on my door. Not because I'm doing anything criminal, but I'm about to say some shit The Declaration of Independence in Congress, July 4, 1776, the unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. When, in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with one another, and to assume among the powers of earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and nature's God entitled them, not your God, nature's God. A decent respect of the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that means they explain themselves, that all men, doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of wiggle room there, all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator, not yours, again, with certain unalienable rights. That means they're non-transferable, they're universal. Everybody gets them, unalienable. Unalienable rights, that among these unalienable rights are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it, and institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them, shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. So, that's not the Constitution. That's the Declaration of Independence. That's the document that says, we don't fuck with Britain no more. That's the document that says, we don't fuck with any of y'all no more. Just us 13 states. That's the document that says, I can do whatever the fuck I want as long as I'm living in these United 13 states, right? That's that document. We're going to go a little bit deeper. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light or transient causes, and accordingly, all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. Basically, that says, let's not get carried away. You're not just it doesn't give you the right to abolish everything that you don't like, but I'm going to get to that part, to the but. It says that you can't just abolish it because you don't like it, okay? It has to be, a real reason, not for light or transient causes. It has to be for, a deeper cause, right? But when a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. You know what the best part about this document is? Is right after it says what I just read to you, it says, it basically tells, such has been the patient sufferance of the colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. So they've been unable to change their system of government. The history of the present King of Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of absolute tyranny over the states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. And there's literally a list Let me show you. So going through this list, let's pick out some of our favorites, or at least some of my favorites. Okay, again, these are my favorites are opinions, but this is all fact. He has refused his assent to laws, the most wholesome and necessary for the public good. So he refuses to assent to certain laws that are the most wholesome and necessary to the public good, like healthcare. He has refused to pass other laws for the accommodation of large districts of people unless those people would relinquish the right of representation in the legislature. Isn't that what we did to the natives? He has dissolved representative houses repeatedly for opposing with manly firmness his invasions on the rights of the people. Wait, so he got rid of whole parties because they disagreed with their belief? Like the Green Party or the Independents? He has erected a multitude of new offices and sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people and eat out their substance. That shit is savage. Savage. Wait, like new, law enforcement offices? Or like the IRS? He has kept among us in times of peace standing armies without consent of our legislatures. Well, we do give consent of our legislators. He has effected to render the military independent of and superior to the civil power. Oh, that one sounds familiar. Yeah. He is at this time transporting large armies of foreign mercenaries to complete the works of death, desolation, and tyranny already begun with circumstances of cruelty and perfidy scarcely paralleled in the most barbarous ages and totally unworthy the head of a civilized nation. Oh, this is a good one. He has excited domestic insurrections amongst us and has endeavored to bring on the inhabitants of our frontiers the merciless Indian... Oh, I should have read this before I did that one. The merciless Indian savages whose known rule of warfare is an undistinguished destruction of all ages, sexes, and conditions. That was pretty savage too. Now, regardless of the blatant, I'm not sure if that's racist or ethicist or I'm not, it's just really fucked up. Besides that fucked up part, what that's saying though is that he is incited domestic insurrections with the endeavor, with the plan to bring on the inhabitants of the frontiers, the merciless Indian savages. The wording is not great, okay? But, I mean, still, he's creating he did a riot at the Capitol. So I just got to the end. This part's interesting, so bear with me. We, therefore, the representatives of the U.S. of America in General Congress assembled, appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world, for the rectitude of our intentions, do in the name and by the authority of the good people of these colonies, solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are... I'm going to have to put this one in another video. Now, for the record, this document was not the Constitution. This is the Declaration of Independence. The Constitution being the supreme law of the land, right? The Declaration of Independence is more of a document that supports the Constitution and those 10 amendments, not the rest, the 10 amendments, okay? So it supports those 10 amendments, and it gives a reason why we're doing this, why we are instilling a new form of government, why we're writing the Constitution, why we're breaking away from Great Britain, why King George is a piece of shit, right? So it's why, and it supports the 10 amendments of the Constitution, the Bill of Rights of the Constitution, okay? But these are separate documents. Everything written after the 10 amendments in the Constitution are not enforced by the Declaration of Independence. Okay, what that means is that the Declaration of Independence, those unalienable rights, are only those first 10. Okay, the right for the IRS to seize your funds, that's not an unalienable right by the IRS. Okay, as an example. And for the record, I'm not pinning this on, one person. Okay, I'm not saying that one person did all of these terrible things in the US. I'm not blaming it on Trump. I'm not blaming it on Biden. I'm not blaming Obama. I'm not blaming Clinton. I'm not blaming anybody. Okay, but there are 535 people who actually have a vote in this country, and we're not one of them. And those 535 people are running this country, and we know who they are. And those 535 people have been doing this same thing. Those 535 people are the one that I blame. And that's a very important distinction. Anyways, I just wanted to shed some light on that particular situation, because everybody wants to talk about how, that's constitutional and that's unconstitutional and these are my rights. And, I feel like most people only know like maybe 2 or 3, which is fine, because only 2 or 3 should really apply in, for the majority of people. Okay. And the reason that only 2 or 3 should really apply is because of the Declaration of Independence, which protects us from a lot more than I feel like we think it does. And it empowers us a lot more than I think we think it does. So if you caught all that, I'm anti-famous, and my shit's definitely getting censored. So if you saw this, good for you. If you catch me in some headlines, I probably didn't do it because I only make music and look up shit on the internet. So, yep. Peace.